Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss the ILFS crisis. A few months ago, there is a lot of discussion going on in electronic media as well as print media about the infrastructure leasing and financial services uh, bank crisis. So, what is this ILFS all about? Today, we are going to discuss in details about the crisis that ILFS have faced. Now, what is ILFS all about? It is a non-banking financial company, and it is a systematically important non-deposit accepting core investment company registered with Reserve Bank of India, and ILFS is currently lending and invest in ILFS group of companies. So basically, it is a non-banking financial company, and if you try to understand more about this bank, then this is one of the India's leading infrastructure development and finance companies, and its core mandate is the development of innovative world-class infrastructure in the country, and it's a pioneer of public-private partnership in India. This ILFS was incorporated in the 1987, and initially this was promoted by the Central Bank of India and Housing Development Finance Corporation Limited (HDFC), and then Unit Trust of India. And then later on, other shareholders also invested in this non-banking financial company, and those are State Bank of India, Life Insurance Corporation of India, then Orix Corporation of Japan, and then Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. So these are the investors in the ILFS, and then if you look at the shareholding of the ILFS, then as on March 31st, 2018, LIC had the highest share in ILFS. It had 25.34 percentage. Orix Corporation of Japan had 23.54 percentage. Then Abu Dhabi Bank actually had Abu Dhabi Investment Authority had 12.56 percentage, then HDFC Bank had 9.2002 percentage, then Central Bank of India had 7.67 percentage, State Bank of India had 6.42 percentage share in ILFS. So basically, we can say that LIC had the highest share, and that's why when there was crisis was discussed, people are worried about the health of LIC. Of course, LIC has a lot of capital, but still it has the highest share, so it is definitely a matter of concern. Now, if you look at the functions of the LIC, ILFS, then it works in basically infrastructure in different forms. One is it works in transportation sector, energy sector, maritime sector, and then water and wastewater sector, urban asset management, then financial services, then environment and education and technology and skill development. So it works in diverse fields and it has different subsidiaries to work on different fields. And if you look at its major activities, then the major infrastructure it has created, then the Chennai Nashri tunnel that it has been created by ILFS, then Baleshwar Kharagpur highway has been done by ILFS. Similarly, Pune Solapur highway also has been constructed by ILFS. So there are different other major projects that are done by ILFS. And if you look at the scale and reach of the ILFS, then it has both domestic presence as well as international presence. Within the country, it has strategic relations with 22 state governments. Similarly, it also has strategic relationship with the various departments of the Government of India and Union Territories. Similarly, if you look at international presence, then it has a presence in Singapore, Spain, London, Dubai, and it has strong network partners in the USA, Tokyo, Philippines, and Abu Dhabi. So it has both domestic presence as well as international presence. Now, what went wrong with ILFS? Basically, ILFS financial services fell short of the cash and defaulted on several of its obligations. Remember, this is only one of the subsidiaries, that is ILFS Financial Services, because it has other services, other wings also. So its financial services wing basically fell short of cash and defaulted on several of its obligations. And that's how new infrastructure projects also dried up. Then, since different projects actually were delayed, then it actually faced cost overruns, and basically the major problem was land acquisition issue. Since the land could not be acquired, the project cost, the projects were delayed for in implementation, and then that's how the project cost will also increase significantly. And that's how finally it defaulted on repayment of the bank loans and term and short-term deposits. Since everything got delayed, actually it also did not get new projects. That's how the financial situation of this bank, actually ILFS, basically was deteriorating, and it failed to meet the commercial paper redemption obligations. And then finally it received notice for delays and defaults in servicing some of the inter-corporate deposits accepted by it. And then the rating agency ICR ICRA downgraded the rating. And we all know that the capital mobilization of a company depends upon the credit rating. So if a private company is downgraded by the rating agencies, then it will not be able to mobilize funds. Its share prices will go down significantly. So all these defaults also jeopardized the hundreds of investors, banks, and mutual funds associated with ILFS, and sparked panic among the equity investors. And the total debt of ILFS had no, and touched 94,000 crore. So there is a huge debt burden on the ILFS. And if you look at the debt to equity ratio, it was 18.7%. Just for your information, let me tell you that states have been allowed to borrow up to 25% of their GSTP. And states like Odisha, actually, most of the states have kept their borrowing below 20% of their GSTP. So now you can see that when a private company has so much of borrowing debt to equity ratio, that is 18.7 or 19%, is quite a huge actually. So that's how it led to a crisis. And then what happened? The banks basically, the government of India lost the faith in the board of ILFS, and in October 2018, the government constituted a new board, as the old one was basically deemed to have failed to discharge duties, and it appointed its nominees on key subsidiaries. I told that there are many subsidiaries of ILFS, so this board basically appointed different nominees to different subsidiaries, and then it initiated austerity measures, basically to repay the loans. It had to cut the expenses, and then it began the new board basically began a full audit of the standalone and consolidated accounts, and then it formed a core operating committee to work towards a resolution plan. Then the board appointed Arcwood Capital and JM Financial as as transaction advisor. Then it also roped in Alvarez and Marshall to maintain strict liquidity controls and manage stakeholders and help develop a resolution plan. So basically, a lot of changes happened, and new advisors actually were given the responsibility. And then investigations also happened. The Serious Fraud Investigation Office started a probe, as there were huge procedural lapses in the non-banking financial company, that is IL&FS. And on April 2nd, 2019, the former Vice Chairman of ILFS, Harigi Sankaran, was arrested by the Serious Fraud Investigation Office in Mumbai, basically for granting loans to entities that were not creditworthy, and thereby causing loss to the company and its creditors. So there are major lapses in the Deloitte's audit of ILFS. Deloitte was involved in audit, and we know that from time to time, different companies actually are cut off with different false audits. And similarly, Deloitte, actually, who was involved involved in IL&FS audit. Actually, they had done a lot of lapses, and the serious fraud investigation office found it guilty of painting a rosy picture of the IFIN, that is ILFS Financial Services Company. And despite being aware of the poor financial health of the company, it had given a rosy picture, which basically triggered the ministry to seek a ban on these auditors. And then on August 16, 2019, the ED, that is Enforcement Directorate, filed its first charge sheet in the so-called ILFS money laundering case. And then the prosecution complaint was filed in a special court of Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and then it also charged former senior management personnel of ILFS, Mr. Ravi Parthasarathi, and then Ramesh Bawa, Harisankaran, Arun Saha, and Ramchand Karunakaran, along with ASL founder Shiva Sankaran. They're all held responsible, and then the ED made provisional attachment of bank accounts and immovable property to the tune of 570 crore held by all these people. And the charge sheet pointed out that the senior management had falsified the accounts and indulged in circuitous transactions. This was basically done essentially to maintain the credentials of the ILFS financial services in order to continue receiving high remuneration and artificially boost the balance sheet of ILFS group. And we know that when the salary of the top management is decided based on the profit of the company, and that's how they showed a high profit so that they get high remuneration, and also shareholders will continue to invest if you show only good balance sheet. However, these activities actually led to further losses. So basically, that was the crisis that ILFS faced. And now, after this investigation, the company or the new board basically decided to do a debt restructuring plan. Basically, by 2020 or 21, they wanted to sell a lot of properties and repay all the loans, and similarly restructure the loans by taking fresh loans. So that's how the ILFS has been stabilized, and they are now trying to improve its audit system and restructure its debt. So that's all about the ILFS crisis. I hope you might find this video useful, and you may like this video, and you may share this video among your colleagues and friends, and you may also subscribe the channel to get other videos from my side. Thank you very much for watching this video.